Hello and welcome to the King George Saturday's Best Country Mix, and joining us right here today is David Hammerschlag. David, how you doing today?
Very well, thanks, Kayden. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So let's get started by getting to know you a little bit and tell us how you get started in your journey of music. Tell us your story.
Right, so I was a classically trained musician as a child. I learned the guitar from about age 6. Then, when I got to university, I met a number of blokes, and we formed a rock stroke pop covers band called Midas Touch, which was, I would use the word, moderately successful. We traveled around because I grew up in South Africa. I moved to Australia in the 1980s. So this happened in Johannesburg, South Africa. And then that band was moderately successful. And then things got, the band and the music was put on the back shelf due to my other professional commitments. And I immigrated to Australia in the mid 1980s, at that time with 2 young children and my wife. And I played one gig with a well-known covers band in Australia called Kathmandu, because their singer stroke guitarist was ill, and I found that was just too much for me. I couldn't handle it. I was completely out of band match fitness. And then what happened was I played the guitar and did a bit of entertaining just for friends, and I played in the firm talent competition that I was working for, and that kind of sort of messing around on the periphery, if I can call it that. And then about 10 years ago now, I started playing at the busking in the street at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, which you probably would know about. It's a country music festival about 5 hours northwest of Sydney. And I started busking in the street, but I wasn't playing country music. I was playing some classical, some flamenco, some jazz, all this.
Okay.
I think people who were walking up and down the street thought that was eccentric, to say the least. But when I was there, I started observing mostly professional performances of people who were playing country music, and I really loved the way those people played the guitar. I didn't play in that style at all, and so I decided that I would learn to play in that country style, which I've done. Whether I've succeeded in doing it or not is for others to judge. But then during the COVID period, I worked at home for a year during the period of the lockdowns, and then I started writing music. For the first time in my life, I wrote music. And then by a series of coincidences, I was put in contact with a really good violin player and a music producer, and I recorded 4 songs in an EP. And then somebody suggested I should retain Stephen Brady at Blue Shamrock to distribute this music, which I did. And lo and behold, much to my surprise, it got played. My songs got played in different radio stations, both in Australia and overseas. And I was just thrilled at that prospect. And then another series of coincidences helped me. I was put in touch with Jamie Fonte and Herm Kovac, who are both well-known producers in Australia and in the country music area. Herm Kovac is kind of the doyen, and he heard my music, and he was content to record the next song after the album, which is it was called "Take Me to a Country Town," and I loved what Herm did. And then he kindly, and Jamie Fonte, agreed to co-produce my next song called "Troop Train," which you've probably heard. And then most recently they recorded and I released an instrumental single called "Country Calypso." So that's kind of been the journey for me insofar as country music is concerned. But country music is my passion. It's not my day job.
Definitely, for sure. Now, I gotta ask, how did the song Troop Train come to life? Like, tell us more about that. I'm so curious because I really like that name.
Right. In 1979, I was drafted into the South African Army.
Okay.
Uh, um, uh, South Africa at that time was involved in what was euphemistically described as a bush war, and and I'd been married for a year when I was conscripted, and the morning on which I left, for my first bout of military training, was a freezing cold winter morning. And my wife of 1 year, who's been my sweetheart since 16, so we've been together a long time. We She was on the platform, and as this train pulled away with, I don't know, 500 men in it, off into the unknown, and and I have vivid memories of pulling up outside this training camp after a day on the train, and then I went through the usual basic training, and then and officers training, and I became an officer, which is why the one verse refers to, son, you've now got rank. And then on 3 occasions I was sent north on different assignments to what was called Southwest Africa, Namibia, which is now Namibia, which borders Angola. So I went there 3 times, and then after 2 years in the military, luckily unscathed, I came home by train, and Toby was there, my wife was there on the platform, and that's the story of Troop Train.
That's incredible. David, where can people learn more about you if they want to check you out?
The best way to do it, I suppose, is via Stephen Brady. He's got information about me. I mean, it's not something that plays much of a role here, but by profession, I'm a lawyer. So
Okay.
and I'm a judge of the New South Wales State Supreme Court. So that's how these two things gel. Is a matter of interest, but that has a complete back burner. So the troop train, the troop train is an earlier part of my life.
That's incredible. David, is there anything that I forgot to mention that you would like to mention before we go today?
Well, yeah, I've really enjoyed, I have to say, the acquiring the knowledge, modest though it may be, as to how to play country, and being able to, having the privilege and benefit of being able to indulge my passion, and having people such as yourself and Stephen and Jamie Fonte and Herm Kovac and all people like that taking an interest in someone who, with respect to this endeavor, might be viewed as a rank amateur. But that's all I can really say.
David, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kayden Gordon Show. Today's Best Country Mix. Definitely appreciate your time and support, and would love to have you on the show again real soon.
Thanks, Kayden.